What's up, Desktopers? Xavier Wills here for Desktop Bodybuilding, and we're back with another Bodybuilding University. We missed our first episode last week. Lots of stuff going on, but today I'm joined by Brett Wilkin in the top right, Jonni Shreve in the bottom left, and Nathan De Asha in the bottom right. Don't really need to introduce these guys. Obviously, Jonni is not a regular on this show, but he's a special guest today. And for people who don't know who Jonni Shreve is, he is killing it on YouTube right now. Like, he's getting crazy views and crazy notoriety, and you just sort of, I suppose, just changed up a little bit, man, and just started killing it. So what's been going on with you, and what's been going on with your YouTube, and how's the views going?
Well, first of all, thanks, guys. Appreciate being on, man. It's a pleasure with you. Beautiful gentlemen.
I did say this is Bodybuilding University, but I forgot to mention this is actually our preview of the 2022 Tsunami Pro as well. Okay. So I sort of forgot that, but I just want to say how you're doing, Jonni. Give us a quick explanation, and then we'll get into that Tsunami Pro, and we'll talk more on the Bodybuilding University live, which is going up after this as well. I want to mention to people. So we've got this. We might do a Legion one separate to this, and then we'll do the Bodybuilding University, and we'll bust them all out in about 30 minutes.
Perfect. Cool. Well, and in short, I basically just scrap just put all my content down to just teaching basics. Just get to the basics, break it all down, clear and simple, and there's a lot of audience that way. And it's been catching on fire. Then I, slowly, progressively overload the content that goes out to making it more, advanced and adding stuff in there, and just keeping it simple and, teach how to properly understand how to train, and then, just have more realistic expectations. Just telling it right? Telling like it is.
Yeah, for sure, man. And that's what people want to hear too, because a lot of people do get fed, sort of get fed crap a lot of the time. So it's cool that you're sort of out there speaking the truth and explaining it in an easy to understand sort of a way. Like, the way you explain your stuff is very logical. So it's really cool. But we'll get more into that, man, when we do the Bodybuilding University, which is the last live that we're going to do. Also, make sure you guys like, comment, give your opinion on the Tsunami Pro as well. We'll be bringing up the competitors and the competitor list. So we'll get straight into that part. I'll share my screen if I can find it behind where you guys are. For some reason, that's not coming up. Here we go. It says,
prepare your shit.
Are we live? Yeah. We're live, aren't we? Jeez, great.
It says pre-sent instead of share for some reason right now. So I don't know what's going on there, but we are live. And I'll bring this up if I can. Sorry, guys. I'll be 1 second. Tsunami Pro show. Here we go. Here's the competitor list. You guys should be able to see it on the screen now, hopefully. Can you see that?
Oh, James doing it?
James, yes. James is in the lineup. He's on the competitor list anyway. He was added only a day or so ago. So we've got James Hollingshead. We've got Marc Hector in there. We've got William Martins, who's a big, freaky dude. Not the best, I suppose, flow and aesthetics, but he's from Brazil. We've got Milan Sadek coming to the show. Jan Turek, always shredded. You got Mohammed El Imam as well. So it's a pretty good lineup. It has Jamie Christian on here as well, but this show's on the same day in a different country, and he's actually doing the Legion. So I'm not sure why Jamie decided to actually do that one instead of this one. But yeah, it looks like a pretty sort of decent competitor list. Like, the top sort of 5 should be pretty good. I'll bring out these guys as we're talking about them as well. Might just need to stop sharing and then reshare as well.
Where's this? What country?
It's in Italy, I believe it is.
Is this Tsunami Pro?
Rome. Yeah, it's called the Tsunami Pro. I don't know why. Tsunami Nutrition is the sponsor, so I guess.
Quick crazy facts. To be honest, swear to God, here's my reason. So there's a chance, like a 0 point something whatever chance, that there is a volcano in fucking Italy, that if it erupts here in Nova Scotia, there will be like a tsunami with waves of 125 feet. That's a fact. Just saying.
Wow.
Just thought I'd bring that there. Yeah. So I'm like, great. Name and shows that. Awesome, man. Cool.
Anyway. Not a good one. But we'll start first. I'll bring up his photos soon. I'll just have to stop the share and do it. We'll start first with James Hollingshead deciding to skip last week, where he could have probably come into that show and potentially got a qualification, but Patrick Johnson was there, who obviously beat him a week prior as well. So it seems like James Hollingshead has sort of made the right decision to do this show instead of the last one. It's more of a sure thing, but he wins it. But we obviously have some other good guys in there as well. So Brett, I'll go to you first. Is James Hollingshead the clear favorite for this show?
Yeah, he's my favorite for this show and this lineup. Mark got it a little bit better because I think he brought it down a little bit. That maybe someone said he was down 5-10 pounds, and he looked better this past weekend. Patrick, I still thought came out with the W. I would have liked to see. I actually would have liked to see James go back, head to head with Patrick. It would have been a really good show last weekend because, just how we talked about with Arnold, how James just kept getting better and better as the show went on. Obviously, we're going to see it again this weekend. It'll be a good one, but it'll have been cool to see the rematch with Patrick. But hey, there's some new guys here. Milan's there. We got pretty good lineup for this weekend for a show. I didn't even know that was what it was called or where it was at. So,
dude, I didn't even know it was on this weekend, and I was like, "Wow, there's 2 pro shows on this weekend." Until
how many shows are left?
There is we've got the Legion, we've got Romania, which Brett's doing in what is it, 5.5 weeks now, Brett?
Yeah,
5 or 6, right?
What's that?
5 or 6 shows left.
Yeah, something like that. Like there's a few.
So there's the Legion, the Prague, and then Brett's one.
So there's enough for everybody to get in, basically.
Yeah, so that's pretty crazy. So I'll bring up some photos of James Hollingshead. Sorry, I'm just sorting out my tabs and stuff as we do this.
So will this show be on Sunday then?
This is on Sunday, but the Legion, I believe, is on Sunday as well.
Oh,
so
yeah, you're right. I think it was last year.
It's not the best scheduling because pro shows in America are normally always the finals are on Saturday night. So we've seen a few shows recently where it's on Sunday, and for me, like the show actually ends on a Monday morning, which is weird in Australia. Because I'm used to seeing this, like for us, it's normally Sunday morning is the finals of pro bodybuilding shows, but it's sort of been a bit all over the place. What do you guys prefer? Like Brett, do you prefer the Sunday or Saturday shows?
I prefer the Saturday, finish on the Saturday night. The only time I've seen the Sunday ones are usually in overseas, like they've been doing right now. But I don't know why Legion does it. I think it's because they have an amateur show that's only starts Friday. But with this, should have at least thought about this and had the Legion on Saturday and Sunday done the Tsunami,
Yeah, for sure. So I finally got James's Instagram up on the screen now. Now, what did you guys think of him? I'll go to you first, Nathan. What do you think of James at the Arnold UK? Did you think he should have placed higher, right where he should have been, or what?
I think James placed where he should have placed. Although everyone knows my opinion on that show and the results, I don't think the results were right. But I think I would have James second, probably that show the most. Patrick did beat him. I think James knows that himself. He was, the cameras don't do him no justice. He was a lot harder in person, than a lot of the guys see. But I believe, man, this show is a walk in the park. Even last week for him would have been a walk in the park. He could have came in, slightly off the weekend and still won the show. But this one, man, is fucking his for the taking, right? It's not going to be hard for him to do it.
Yeah, and it's funny because you see him sometimes. Like I've seen him a few times recently, and it was just like stuff like this where he's not like fully pumped or whatever, when he's not posing, and I'm like, oh, James isn't looking that big. I'm like, has he sort of before the 100 UK? I was like, did he shrink down to sort of like I suppose and flatten out like he did for the Olympia last year? And when he's on stage, he looked enormous.
He's not flattened out, bro. He knows he needed to come down, 5 pounds. He went for a different look this time, the Arnold, and you got to appreciate that he tried something different, him and JP. But I think this time he's going to come in a little bit harder, but still keep that fullness. That's why I believe he wanted that week off, so he could, he could refeed, fill up, and then push again. Like obviously, a lot of the guys they want to do shot to show, and yourself, you always come down more and more and more. But with James, I think a lot of you seen last year, he becomes down more. He looks stringy. He looks small. So, he knows his body better than most. So he knew he needed a refeed. He needs to get his mindset correct and he's going against Sunday.
Yeah, for sure. So I thought he looked pretty damn good. Like my first impression when we did that, we did the live prejudging review. We're like, oh, it's, I sort of said it's somewhere in between the UK show that he did when he won a couple of years ago and then the Olympia last year. But I think it was actually more closer to that UK British show, maybe just not quite as crisp. So what did you think about James, I suppose, after seeing all the footage? And I suppose, what do you think in terms of like what he should bring this week? Do you think it's just a little bit more crisp or?
Me or Brett?
Me? Anyone? Oh.
You asking me? Sorry.
Yeah.
We went down the line there. My bad. I didn't hear it. I think, honestly, like I said, I want to see him, and I don't know. I didn't talk to him, but I want to see him. I thought he got to continue to get way better during Arnold. as he, you know, posed off some of that initial.
I agree.
So come in maybe like 3-4 pounds tighter, I think, and he's golden. You know, start out that way and then just hang on to it through the whole through the whole showing. But he'll be spot on. Like I said, he should win this one pretty handily in my eyes. He just got to execute like he did last time.
Yeah, for sure. Jonni, what do you think about James and his physique? Like, do you think this, but a bit tighter, could do, you know, just say he qualifies this weekend? Do you think that could do well at the Olympia, like a top 10 potentially?
Well, I watched him at the Arnold, and I thought he should have placed higher for sure. He's big, and he's got great shape. And then, you know, I think the week off is actually better for him, because I think with bigger guys, it's better if they can take a little break in between, just because they're gonna fill up more than, you know, if you're a smaller guy, right, like myself. Yeah. So I just, you know, and the guys that are up there in pro, I know, like, you know, James is the next guy to win. Like, you know, if he's tighter than this for sure, I think he's got an easy win. Like, Hector's got a great physique and stuff, but he's got too many holes. And James is a big dude, and he's big and he's lean. He comes in sharper, he's definitely gonna win that.
Yeah, I think Marc Hector's main issue, who I'll bring up in just a second, is the fact that he's just, like, he's added so much muscle, and I suppose it's a little bit harder to condition that muscle. And he does normally come in great condition. He was last year. But I think that he just needs that little bit more crispness to his muscle. And I think it's just sometimes like years in the gym to develop that. Like, I think he can get better.
I just don't think they've peaked it right, bro. It's not even that.
Yeah.
Like, I see him the other day, right? I think he looked better at the Arnold. I do. I was there at both shows. I think he looked better at the Arnold. He, you know, he's sweating more at the Arnold, but I just don't think they've got the peak right for him. You see him you see the pictures of him in the gym, right? The guy looks fucking freaky. And when he goes on stage, his lower half, his back looks like a fucking water balloon. Whether they're overloading the carbs or they're using something to push the carbs in, just pull it off. Or, you know, if the show's on Sunday, right, carb load the fuck out of him all day Friday, half a day Saturday, and just wean it off. Just pull the carbs out Saturday, up midday Saturday, right, and then let it just go in like that. He'll still have the fullness from the Friday and Saturday anyway. I just think his carb loading's wrong. On, you know, obviously it's his and his coach's first show together, and it's a hit and miss all the time. But I just think it's the carb loading, because if the pictures aren't filtered and shit and aren't edited, then it has to be the carb loading, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I think, like, when you say you thought he was better at the Arnold, I do understand that as well. Like, he's not as crisp here, but he is definitely a lot fuller. So in some shots, I think sometimes it actually looks a little bit more impressive with this fullness, because sometimes it's hard when there's only 1 week between a show to pull it right down and then still feel back up to that same level. So
but he got
Nathan, obviously he was at both shows. So do you think that's sort of what happened?
On Saturday, right, as the posing went on. So in the Arnold, he got wetter and wetter and wetter as his posing went on. So obviously he's been working on his posing, but he got better. Yeah. He got better this Saturday. The more he posed, he got a hell of a lot better, and he didn't sweat as much. You know, he gave Patrick a fair run for his money. It was a hit or miss, really. I believe Patrick should have won it, but I wouldn't have complained if Marc won it. You know, they're the best out of the two. But
really,
I just think overall Jamie was fucking best, to be honest. But those two, you know, I think Marc was better the week before. But I think if they've learned anything now from the last two shows, I believe he should be a lot crispier come Sunday with the fullness, hopefully.
Yeah, for sure. You mentioned you thought Jamie was the best at that show last week. Did you think that, we'll talk more about Jamie on the next preview of the Legion, because he was on the list for this show, actually. And as you guys can see, I'll bring it up now. You see Jamie is on this list, and he's also on the competitor list, I believe, for the Legion as well. So he has decided to go over, and maybe he thought, okay, it's the same judging panel. He did, I think Tyler Mannion's judging.
No, he just wants to travel.
Sorry?
He just wants to travel. He just wants to travel, Jamie. That's it.
Oh, yeah, cool. So, well, I think it's a cool decision to do, because, I mean, he's obviously going to be against different people this time around, which I think is probably good for him.
Yeah.
So, anyway, guys, we'll discuss Muhammad El Imam. What do you guys think about him? Do you think that if he brings his all-time best, because he was pretty good at that show a week before the Arnold Classic? What was it? That was the Yamamoto in Italy, was it, Nathan?
I don't know. Yeah, Italy.
Yeah. So there's that one. So he looked pretty good there, got placing second, but he just wasn't conditioned enough to actually win that show. But had he been more conditioned, I think he could have won it. So do you give this guy any chance in this show, Nathan?
Nah, man. It's an English. This is an English 1 and 2. It's between Mark. England are coming for it, bro. Coming for that shit. And plus, you know, Mark's saving a lot of time going through the shows and traveling. You gotta reward that. You know what I mean? This guy is good. He's big as a house, but you know, you look at James, you look at Mark. They're a lot more prettier, man. Like the physique is just a lot nicer. Even if Mark was soft, he'd still beat him. He just has a way nicer physique.
Yeah. Even if this guy was inside out, I mean, he's not inside out here. Like,
I just don't like it. I just don't. You know,
he's a block.
Just look past the past shows, right? Everything's more symmetrical. It's all symmetry. Look, all the previous shows, the Arnold, last week, shows before that. These big guys are just getting put to the side.
Sure.
Bro.
Yeah, there's way more guys competing this year that are big and aesthetic, like a ton.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So if you're that's why like guy like Nick can be in trouble this year, right? Because he's big as a fuck, right? He's big as house, but then so is like Dowda, so is Jack, and they're they got pretty ass physiques. You know what I mean? So big guys like that, they need to be put together better. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Johnny, what do you think about this guy? This guy's got Milan Sadek. He's got really, really good shape, and I mean,
Milan's gonna have Milan's is that Milan like that? Like,
yeah,
it is.
So you got to open.
Yeah, he was 2-2, and he came up with us at the Cali Pro, back.
Yeah.
So he's put on some size. Like, I remember him just being stupid peeled, right? But like, it's again like, if a guy's bigger than him and is pretty, he's gonna win. Like he'll definitely be a top for sure. He's always conditioned. He's got a good looking physique, and he's obviously put the muscle on, right? That guy's peeled no matter what. I never seen that guy not in shape.
Yeah,
so
and he's in varying degrees of condition too. But here he looks really, really hard when he flexes those quads.
I mean, like if he brings it in on stage, like I look at it this, like I look at it like this, like if these guys can bring it in at 100% of what they could bring it in, can he beat, James? No. Can he beat Hector? No. Can he be top 5? Yeah.
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 You know what I mean?
Yeah, like that's being up there, but maybe I'm interested to see what this looks like next to Marc Hector. Like if he's just absolutely, if Milan is completely inside out and Marc Hector's sort of how he looked last week. Yeah. I mean, Brett, what do you think? Do you think that this could potentially challenge a Marc Hector?
Yeah, no, I'll put him in that 3, 4, 5 range. Just based off, like Johnny said, we watched this guy. He was killing himself to make 212, and he'd do so good in 212, but he was like that. Forced himself to get down there, and then he's been in the open the last few years. I don't think he when he moved to the open, he kept that conditioning, which is great, but I don't think he's added the needed size as stated. So probably still in that 225 to 230 range. He'll have the best conditioning on stage next to James. He'll probably be marking a few of the back shots, but overall he'll just end up getting pushed back a little bit just with size, standing next to him.
Yeah. Sure, yeah, that's understandable. Sorry, I was bringing up the wrong things there, guys. So we've got Milan Sadek. Next on the list, we have, not Jamie Christian. We've got William Martins. We'll highlight him. He's a Brazilian bodybuilder. Hasn't got the best shape, but he has a ton of muscle.
Just said it right there.
What's that?
Good introduction. Not good. Cool.
Well, I know you guys.
Second call out.
I'll give him a follow. But he has his midsection, like he has a lot of freaky muscle. I should have done like a compliment sandwich where I compliment him and I say he doesn't have the best shape, but something else good. But you can see he's got a ton of muscle here. I don't know if this was posted a week ago.
What did he already compete this year?
He hasn't done anything this year yet.
And these guys look great on Instagram. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Here we go. These are cool body shots. In these front shots, so you look at the front double bicep here. Like
he's got way more to do.
Yeah, like
his weight, his back's not his back's is not as big enough for his waist. His waist gives up too much. His back's not big enough from the front or the back.
He needs to pose this very differently to the front double bicep. Like he's almost pushing his waist forward as well, which kills him. So
like his rear delts over fucking they overshadow his teres. Like the width of his back comes from his shoulders, and when he gets like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm looking at from here.
Nathan, how do you judge someone like this who has like a killer side chest? Like his side chest always looks amazing, but his front double bicep is probably going to be, you know, like this is probably first in the lineup and this is probably last. So how do you judge someone like that?
So you put him to so first pose front double, right? So already he's going to be way at the bottom. Okay, comes to the front lat spread. It looks kind of, no disrespect, not the best. Okay, and then you put him to a side chest. You know, he might go up the rank in 1 or 2, but after the first 2 poses, he's way down there.
Yeah. He just doesn't flow, I think, and it's unfortunate because it's like, what can this guy do apart from
his posing's off too? Like he's not helping himself out. His side chest is making him look too small. You know, like the way he's posing his, you know, his calves, he could be way more. Yeah, and his front double and front lat, like that whole like foot out type thing doesn't work for him. Just being honest.
Yeah, I know. I totally agree as well. Like like his legs are very open now on a front lat spread.
Yeah,
Brett, what do you think?
Gonna need a little work by Saturday, I think.
that was 3 weeks out, by the way.
Okay. No, he's always, like I said, he'll be big. You know, he'll be up there with James, is probably the biggest. But I think they'll just start getting picked away by shape, especially these guys that have, you know, the small. You know, but still, I think he'll be a first call out, probably 4 or 5 there in battle against a few of those guys.
Yeah, for sure. Now I think that's most of the big names in this show. Hopefully, none of these guys. Oh, we got Alfred Chirac. I don't know how to pronounce his name. He's actually Romanian, so he might be doing that show with you, Brett. I'll look him up. He always comes in really, really good condition. Do you know him, Brett?
I never heard of him though.
He competed actually, I think, not last weekend, but at the Arnold UK. He's actually pretty good, but I think he lacks the size to compete with the biggest guys.
Yeah, I seen him.
The Patrick's guy?
Yeah.
Here is he.
He good conditioning for sure.
Yeah. I just think like even when you see Max Charles here, like Max Charles is just so much more muscle and just
bigger. That guy looks small. I mean, these are pictures and they're on the angle.
What's that?
The last picture is like, you know, it's a picture and it's slightly on an angle. So he looks a lot, you know what I mean? The camera's obviously coming from the right, but he looks smaller.
He looks like, do you guys remember Beto Abispor?
Who?
His name's Beto Abispor. He actually passed away. Dennis James was prepping.
Yes. Him. Yeah. Back in the day. Bader.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Reminds me, like his ribcage reminds me of him a little bit.
Yeah.
Bader. You said beta.
No,
sounds like you said beta. Bader. Baddour, isn't it?
I nailed it. Images. Can you guys see my screen now?
Oh, how do you
he was sick. It's Baddaur or Baddour, something like that. Is that right? Did you get it right?
Can you see my screen now or no?
We can't
see the screen.
Oh,
it's tiny as shit.
See that? Like that looks very similar to.
I know what you're talking about. What he does is kind of like when he does his front double, he used to always like bring it in. It was like flat. It was nice.
Yeah.
He was sick.
No, he looks pretty good. But anyway, let's get into some predictions on this show. I'll bring up the competitor list. I'll let you go first, Nathan. Who do you have in this show? We'll do what do you want to do? Like a top 3, top 5 or?
Top 3.
Top 3?
Yeah. Top 3.
James, Marc Hector. And then I'll go Patrick guy. Alfred.
Okay, yeah. Brett, who have you got?
James, Marc Hector, and then I'm gonna go Milan.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Yeah. I was gonna say the exact thing.
So it's between. So if Milan places,
it's between. It's that's third and fourth right there. It's a battle.
Yeah, I'd say so as well. Oh no, are we forgetting about Muhammad El Imam?
No.
No,
we're not.
Wow.
No, we get the list right there, bro.
Top 3, not top 5.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, I'm saying Milan in third.
Honorable mention They're battling for third.
It'd be hilarious if Marmot came in here and just looked absolutely killer. I'll say him in fourth. But anyway, guys, we'll wrap up this one and then we'll come back with the Bodybuilding University podcast. We'll be previewing the Legion Pro on there as well, discussing our top 5 bodybuilders of all time and also taking live listener questions. So make sure you get your comments in. I'll have a quick look at the comments now before we wrap this one up.
Don't see any comments. Bullshit.
Stop sharing my screen. Let's have a look at what people have been saying. If anyone has any questions,
where can you see the live at, or is this on YouTube right now?
This is live on YouTube right now. This is from Casey Pavlina.
Wagwan, Casey.
Wagwan.
What does that mean?
Wagwan, man. Wagwan, how you doing?
Is that British or what?
Wow. Yeah, it's British.
He's in Australia, bro. You know about Wagwan.
I have no idea
British.
what Wagwan is.
Patois, brother. Jamaican. Middle, like West Indian, man. What's up?
What's up?
Means hi. What's going on? Wagwan.
Oh, okay, there you go. Wagwan. Wagwan.
Is it British? You
Xavier Wills wants to say Wagwan. Wagwan, baby girl.
Okay. What's this? I don't know if this is a question or not. This is from Ryan. It says, considering how many shows there are, and the top 5 get to qualify, almost everyone that wins a show won't make it in the top 10 of yo. So yeah, I mean, well, Brett, you might have something to say about
that. Well, yeah. So only 10 people are going to get top 10 out of 5. Yeah, of course. So there's only ever going to be top 10 in the top 10. So yeah, there's a lot of shows this year. A lot of guys will qualify. Like, different years produce different results. But this will be one of the bigger Olympias we've seen in the last, I can remember, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. So it should be interesting to see them all up there. It'll be, you don't see very often like that setup where they're all on the stage together. Think about 35 guys. When's the last time we've seen that?
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy, man. It's gonna be crazy.
A lot of people up there.
There should be a tier system.
Natty Gain says Jamie keeps getting dicked.
Do you guys think that though? I know. Nathan does, but I don't think Jamie's. I don't think
bro.
To show you.
Listen, I was there front row on Saturday, straight away in the lineup. I text him, "You're getting fucked over because you can't compare." Listen, he had the best condition. He was the fullest. He made them both look like fucking children and water buffaloes, both of them, right? Obviously, they're both in shape, but I said to him, "You just can't compare. You can't compare Jamie to them guys." It was like the other day, right, when Martin went against the bigger guys, the taller guys. He looked small. He wasn't small. It's just hard to compare them. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And Jamie just can't get compared. Jamie's reason was his legs are too small. Now, I'm telling you, mate, his legs are bigger than Marc Hector's. His legs are bigger than Patrick's. And I don't give a fuck. I was there. I seen them both. But for Jamie's size, the guy's going to need another 40, 50 pounds. That's not possible. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, measurement-wise, he's obviously winning most of those criterias, He probably has 33-inch legs. He probably has 23-inch arms. But the thing is, when you're 6'5", it doesn't appear that way,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, yes, he's been each show. I agree with you. Like, he has improved dramatically where it's like, wow, But in the grand scheme of things, it's not him competing against himself. It is for him. Yeah. But they're not. The judges aren't gonna reward him solely from him getting better. It's gonna be how he compares always.
Yeah, it's all a giant dude, right?
No, but you know what I mean, bro. I aired him the other day. I aired him when I told him he looked shit. I told him he looked shit. He got on Instagram and said stuff about me. I didn't even see it. I didn't really care. And then obviously, he messaged me, and then he got on the podcast and said thank you. But I'm straight. If it thought look like a bag of dicks, I tell him look like a bag of dicks. Look, you're not gonna be ready.
Right.
Hand on heart, bro. The guy looks fucking freaky, man. It's weird. If he was 4 inches smaller, then
that's it. Like we'll talk. Like I know. I was like, who the hell are you guys talking about? I'm like, oh yeah, giant dude. That's how I know him as giant dude. And it's like that with anyone who's tall. It's like it's an illusion. Yeah. If he was compact more, he'd be killing everybody. But you don't realize how big the motherfucker is because he's
big.
What? He's 6 what?
You know what I think it is? I think it's almost it helps him in the front shots.
Yeah.
Wide he is. He's so dominant, you know, especially when looking down on the crowd, I'm sure. But when he turns around is when he loses it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So much.
Like he's a monster, mother. Jesus. You know what I mean? Like,
but then when he turns to the side and the back, that's a whole different story. Just because
and you gotta think when you're judging and you're looking up this way, right? You gotta think like angles, right? So the taller you are, the smaller you look from down here. The shorter you are, the wider you are, the bigger you look.
Nasty.
Like that's not even cool. This guy's their dad.
Yeah, like I said, from the back it's weak, right? But
yeah, very.
You know, I just gotta give it to him, man. Like
aesthetic as hell, because he needs to be massive in the back to even, you know what I mean?
I think for 6'5" though, this lat spread, like
6'7".
I think he could hit that lat spread way bigger. He's pushing down on those lats. He should be opening it up. He can spread that way bigger. He needs to spread that up. Some of these guys aren't posing for their frame either.
But I will say, like, when was the last time we saw a bodybuilder like this tall that was actually competitive? Like, really, like Lou Ferrigno, like there's been no one. So I feel like this should almost. I mean, this is probably one of his weakest.
No, who's a Canadian dude? What do you call it? He does the WBFF.
I have no idea.
He's the owner of WBFF. You know,
Paul Dillette.
Yes.
Was he 6'5" though?
He was +6. He's 6+.
Oh, yeah. Paul. Yeah.
Paul Dillette. Yeah.
He wasn't as tall as Jamie, but he was definitely tall.
He was towering. You know what I mean? He's taller than Ronnie.
He was bigger than Ronnie.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was enormous. He runs that whole federation now. I'll see if he's got any
cake.
Do you reckon he has any old? I knew it'd be old promotion stuff.
Right,
just the photos of Paul Dillette.
Oh, Paul Dillette, nah, man, he hates the IFBB. He won't have nothing on him. I think that nothing, bro. Yeah. He's like he should have won Olympia a bunch of times. These things.
Yeah, I know he wouldn't even be allowed in at this point. But anyway, guys, let's wrap this one up. We'll be back in just a second with our normal bodybuilding university, and we'll preview the Legion Pro. So that's it for this one. Make sure you do like, subscribe, comment, leave all your opinions, and let us know who you think should have won the 2020 or who should win, the 2022 Tsunami Cup this weekend. James Hollingshead, Marc Hector, or do you have someone else? Anyway, guys, thanks for getting in the comments live and getting in the comments after the show as well. So that's it for this one. I'll play the outro now. It's probably going to play really quick because I didn't play it earlier. But anyway, guys, that's it for this one. For Xavier Wills, Brett Wilkin, Jonni Shreve, Nathan De Asha. Make sure you tune in for Bodybuilding University coming right up.